All right. Welcome to a new episode of the Nerd Holes. Will and I just got back an hour ago from seeing
Yeah,
Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantum Realm. Quantumania. Yeah.
Quantumania,
Yeah.
Quantumania.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what's funny is like after the movie ended, I said, "Oh, I didn't even realize that the Wasp's name was in the title.
Yeah, yeah,
I literally thought it was just Ant-Man Quantumania. I didn't know it was Ant-Man and the Wasp."
yeah, Quantumania. Yeah.
Yeah. She wasn't in the movie a ton, really.
No, I mean to be fair, she's kind of in it the same she's in the other two. It's like
I
she's
feel like
in
she has
it. She
more of a
holds a
role.
part.
She has more of a role in the second one, I thought.
She does a lot more, and they focus on her a lot more because like you're seeing her suit for the first time. But
Yeah, I guess that's true.
really, it's you know, it's his. I mean, it's their movie, but it's really he obviously is like the driving point of it.
Yeah. Yeah, so going into the theater, I hadn't seen anything. I didn't see any reviews. I didn't see anything.
Yeah.
You saw a couple things though, you said.
Yeah, I wasn't really like looking for them or anything, and I just kind of like a couple stuff came up in my social media feeds, and I was like, I didn't really read them. I just kind of saw you see like the number, like, oh,
Yeah.
look, bad numbers, and I was like, oh, okay, well, that could be mean anything. And then this guy that um I sometimes will read on Reddit just kind of said like, it was a little lackluster kind of thing. I didn't read all of what he said. I just kind of he has like a what do you call it?
Hmm.
Um, it's like I forget what the acronym is, but it's like he summarizes his thing at the top of the pair,
Hmm.
like basically what he feels about the movie is summarized in like two sentences.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I read that and I was like, huh, that's interesting. And then I just kept seeing more and more stuff from like Rotten Tomatoes and all that stuff, and I was like, why? I wonder why. I'm like, I don't know. I just was like, what could they possibly do in this movie to get it to get like really not good
Yeah.
reviews. Like it was getting bad reviews. So we go in and it was like, I don't know. I don't know. It was I'm trying to think. There was like a point and I was thinking like, oh, maybe this is what they were referring to. And it was
Yeah.
when um well, I won't say when because we'll say when spoilers are happening, but
Right,
um
right.
it was probably like an hour and change into the movie. And I was like, okay, maybe this is what people are referring to, but I don't know. The To me, any type of like feeling about it, that mid credit scene like changed it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. That's all I would say is like the biggest thing is kind of like leading up to like a big villain forward and something happens where it doesn't, but it
Right, right,
does. But it still
right,
does,
right,
you know what I
right,
mean?
exactly.
In fact,
Yeah.
it almost could
So
be argued that it the events of this movie made it more so. um Without spoilers, yeah, there's like
the
events
thing,
of this movie that kind of make the main villains be like, okay, now we got to do something,
right,
you know.
right. To me, the thing that's really great about it is this movie and the Loki series are doing the thing that like you and I and others have kind of complained about, which is like they're not getting to the meat of it all,
Yeah.
and like this is setting that up with Loki doing it
Yeah.
too. You know what I mean? So
I,
I like the way they're building it because when more stuff happens in the future, you're like you understand him more and more and more and more. It's like Thanos,
right.
right? It's like when
Right.
he eventually showed up in Infinity War, you weren't like, well, who's this guy? Why is he doing this?
Yeah.
Why does he care? We understood everything. We understood his motives, and the stuff we didn't understand, he was able to explain because you were
Yeah.
prepared for this moment to happen, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah. And so like going in and you were talking about some of the negative reviews and stuff. The the thing that I was thinking is that like I was thinking maybe by the end of the movie you'd feel kind of like we did after we left Strange, was just kind of
Mm-hmm.
like it wasn't as
Yeah,
crazy as it could have been. Didn't really dig into
yeah, like
the
the stakes were
new
not
the new
that good,
stuff.
right? Yeah,
Yeah, but when we left this movie, I feel like this movie has out of everything that's come out lately, this movie has set up the new like arc way more than the other movies
oh,
have.
anything has.
Yeah.
I mean, Spider-Man was really good, but again, it was very self-contained, right? It really just affected Spider-Man. So this is the only thing that has like seriously set up
Yeah.
like
Like
what
showing you
what
like this is
yeah,
this is the next Thanos. This is the next big
right,
threat.
right.
And if you think he was like super dangerous on his own,
Right.
just,
Yeah,
wait because it's not
it's
Thanos is
not
a threat because he's a titan and he's
right,
a god force in himself. But
right.
you take somebody who's like power hungry times like, whatever however many universes there are, that's like
Yeah.
very dangerous. So
Well,
it's kind of they're kind of setting up just not just like it's not just
yeah.
the conqueror, King the Conqueror. It's like they're all King the Conqueror. It's like there's a ton
Right,
of
right,
them,
right, right, right.
which I like.
So we'll just say, and then we can move on because I think it's gonna be hard to stay out of spoiler
Yeah,
territory
yeah,
here.
they're kind of, but yeah. So basic thoughts of the movie is like we both really enjoyed it. I mean,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I had a great time.
Me too. Yeah. Honestly,
Like
I
you
haven't
said,
felt that like into it since Spider-Man. I mean, really.
yeah, yeah. Spider
I
Man was
like
the
Black
last like.
Panther a lot, but it just, whatever. But
Mhm.
yeah, it was good. I
Again,
really
they've
but
all been like self-contained
yeah.
movies,
Yep.
and like after us fans have been watching like Loki and Hawkeye and all the Disney Plus stuff, like when we go to the theater now, we're expecting like digging into like the material more than just like a TV show. And
Right.
we haven't got that at all.
Right.
And now this is the first movie that feels like, okay, this is the launch pad into the new Avengers, into Kane Dynasty. I mean that's just what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah.
really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. Like you said when we left, you're like, yeah, now we got to see it in 3D because like there were some really cool effects that were like it will look great like in
Yeah, I mean,
3D.
within minutes I was like, "Oh, okay. Yeah. This would be fun to watch in 3D."
It's always good when you leave a movie and you say, yeah, I'd like to see that again.
Yeah, great. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I
that's how
did
I was
not
thinking too.
I did not leave Black Panther 2 feeling that way. Um didn't leave Doctor Strange feeling that way. So, yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I do. I felt the same way. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know. I it's so if you
So,
like the
yeah.
other Ant-Man movies,
Yeah.
go see this one.
Go for Paul Rudd, stay for the story. that's our
Pretty
that's
much.
our
I mean, yeah,
review. That's our review.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Honestly, all the characters are great. Like all of them, every single
I
one of
know.
them.
It's a rarity to get everybody to be so good in it. Like
There's always like
everybody.
somebody that you hate that you don't like.
Right, yeah. But
You're just like, oh, I don't like that. I don't like that person.
I don't
Even
think there
the
really was anybody.
no, even when like that main like warrior woman showed up for the first time.
Yeah.
I've just seen so many movies like recently where you're just like, okay, you're kind of pre-programmed to be like, okay, I'm not gonna like this person.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
she
yeah.
was totally fine. She
Yeah.
was great.
It's true. It's true. Yeah, I was even concerned about um the well, I don't know if it's a spoiler, but the other like the guy they kind of interact with, the other
Mm-hmm.
human looking guy.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm.
he when he was doing his little shtick, I was like, is this
Mm.
gonna get stupid? And then it was like, nope, it was fine.
Well, that actor, we'll talk about it, but that actor kind of has he's pretty much the same character and everything.
Oh, is he? Oh,
Uh,
okay, okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
yeah. Oh well, yeah. I don't. Who are you? I was talking about Bill.
Oh, you're talking about that guy. Oh, no, no, no. I was
Yeah.
talking about the mind reader.
Oh, that guy. Okay. Yeah.
When they first showed the mind reader guy, I was like, and he was doing his thing. I was like, okay.
That's gonna be
Like
old. Yeah.
the first couple jokes fell flat. The disgusting thought thing was like, oh yes, I get it. Like, haha. But then they kept doing it, and I was like, okay, how long is this going to go on? But then it immediately got better as time went on. I was like, okay, I liked it. I liked it once it moved on and more jokes. I found it funny.
And
I
that
don't
was
know for
it. That
just for
was.
some reason
Uh,
the initial
yeah.
burst. I was like, yeah,
He kind of was being set up as like the comedic relief, kind of.
yeah,
But they only used him a few more times. That was it. It's not like he was a
yeah,
constant.
yeah. And he was totally fine. Yeah, just funny.
But there was a lot of characters that were kind of like comedic relief, and it was kind of like this
Oh,
blend between like wacky, zany, you know.
which to me is like exactly what Ant Man is, right? All of the movies
Mhm.
are like that. All of them.
This
All of
felt
his
more like
all.
a Guardians.
Yes, yes, yeah. It's like it basically it was basically like Guardians with what Doctor Strange should have been like.
Mhm. Yeah, because the quantum realm and outer space could be pretty much like interchanged if you really
Yeah.
think about
So
it.
that's
Yeah.
the thing we'll get into later about this thing that I read, but it's okay.
Okay.
So
Okay. Yeah. So moving into spoiler territory.
don't continue if you haven't seen the movie.
Yeah. So we're gonna do some heavy spoilering now.
Heavy, extreme
So
heavy spoilers.
Bill Murray's in it.
Yeah, we did it. And end the video.
That's kind of who I was talking about. Was like when
Yeah,
he showed up, he's kind of like how he's always kind of like he's just Bill
he's
Murray,
he's always the jerk. Yeah,
and it was
he's
just
always
kind of
Bill
like
Murray. Yeah.
yeah, he was great, and it wasn't like a super long scene, so it wasn't
No,
like he was
no,
a
no. And
over
I
the
love that
top.
he probably dies in that scene. It was all I just like that he
I
came, he was smooth and cool, and then he was awful and but he was like he was bad in the way that you want him to be bad, right?
hmm
Because he was like upset. So it made sense. He wasn't just like he's a jerk to be a jerk. It was like
yeah,
there was a purpose to it.
I like that he gets eaten by the thing that he eats too. That's
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah. And clearly what's his name didn't enjoy it there. That's why he did it.
Mm.
Hank there.
Yeah, yeah,
I
I
was
love
really
Hank.
happy he was in it a lot more and had like a lot more to
Yeah,
do. That was cool.
he even kind of got like a updated hairstyle. You know,
Yeah, made him a little cooler, right? They made him a little more like
it's almost like I was expecting at any minute for him to be like push a button and have a suit on the whole time too. You
me
know what I mean?
too. Yeah, me
Didn't you
too.
think
Me
that?
too. I honestly thought he was gonna have like a retro Ant Man suit, like he
Yeah,
was
I
gonna
know,
make
right?
it or he had it.
Oh, can you imagine that if he had like the old style, like big, like air breathing
I
helmet?
thought, I thought for sure. I know we're getting farther into the movie, but I thought for sure when he showed up with everything, I thought to myself, this is the perfect time for
Yeah,
them to have made him like an Ant Man suit. So it was like the retro, but it was like more like what do you want to say like hard technology like more
yeah,
like harder edges.
techie. Yeah,
Yeah,
basically what the ants were wearing. What the ants were wearing.
exactly,
And I
exactly.
also, yeah, because I was expecting him to have like the old helmet and also like, because Kane kind of gives a dig at like Scott. He's like, you're the guy that talks to ants. Like I've killed you on other
Right,
Avengers teams like multiple times. Like you're nothing. And
right.
then Hank Pym walks in with all the like the ants like shooting the big thing.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I was expecting him to be like, no, I talk to ants. And he has like the big
right.
helmet on.
It
Like,
was a
I was
really
waiting for it.
cool hero moment to have like the seasoned original like because Hank Pym is like the original Avenger Ant-Man.
Yeah. Yep.
I really enjoyed that he had like the yeah, you've been dealing with Scott, but I'm Ant-Man.
Yeah,
And that's
right.
what I liked. Was it had a
I,
really good feeling where you're like, I'm here. You've been dealing with him.
I
I'm
also thought
Ant-Man.
it would have been a cool reference too if Kang like specifically was like, "Oh, you're Ant-Man.
That's true.
That's why I didn't recognize you. That's
Right.
why he doesn't recognize Scott because Scott is like our universe's Ant-Man.
Right.
But in other universes, Hank Pym is Ant-Man. So that would have been like a cool like nod to.
Yeah, I agree.
There's got to be when this movie comes out. There's gonna be so many like deleted scenes that are gonna be like all this stuff we're talking
Oh,
about.
I know. So many.
How do you
I
cut stuff?
think the two things I kept thinking about, and I'm not gonna bash Doctor Strange the whole time, but the thing I kept thinking about was um
Like,
the two movies that made me think about was Clone Wars.
mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
Specifically
like
Clone Wars when
Geonosis.
yeah, when he's like assembling the blue helmet guys and he's like my empire. I literally you could hear like the music and when they're all
Boom,
lined up in
boom, boom.
squares and
Yeah.
the ships are like lifting off and going. I was like, man, yeah, yeah.
It was a very like imperial. Yeah.
It felt like Rebels against the Empire, right? I mean, that's what it felt
Well,
like.
that first place that they land in the quantum realm, like it really looked like the like Geonosis and all the
Yes,
weird like Star Wars
yes.
plants and creatures and stuff.
So this thing that I read this review. Because I'm really honestly, like truthfully, really curious about what people hate about the movie. What
Yeah.
like what's making these bad reviews happen? Like, what am I missing? What am I not thinking about?
Right.
So I read this one review from the New Yorker, which whatever. This guy
Yeah.
is paid to write flowery material, but that's fine.
Well, first of all, before you say what he did 2 weeks ago, did he write
Yeah,
a glowing
yeah.
review of Avatar 2? That's what I need to know before I trust anything he says.
I, I don't know if he did. He
Ant
probably
Man
did.
sucks. Way of the Water, however. Mm.
Yeah, I wonder if he did. Let me see.
James
Front
Cameron did
row.
not pay me and endorse this review in any way, shape, or form.
Um,
I'm mostly joking, but
no, but you make a good point. I know you're just busting his chops, but I mean, really.
because I read a review one time in our local paper. Um, it was a Spider-Man movie, Homecoming, and he's like,
Okay.
"Well, first of all, this movie is so long and so boring." And then, like halfway through his scathing review of this movie, he says, "I'm not even a superhero fan. Like, I don't even get the superhero movie genre. Like, I just don't even get it." I was like, "So why did you review Spider-Man? You have no right. Like,
True.
I get it. Like, superhero movies aren't for everybody, so don't see them. Don't talk about it. Like, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean?"
Yeah.
But to like be so mad about it and write a review about how like you know terrible it was and how okay.
No, he didn't. He didn't like Way of the Water.
Okay, good. Okay, well, redone.
So this thing that he brought out, and
I don't even
it's
like.
not
I
like
hate ants.
no, yeah. He this guy his thing's called the front row, and he
Mm-hmm.
writes these things. Anyways, so he um he brought up this point, and I said, you know what? I did think about it briefly, but the movie is throwing so much at you that you kind of like overlook it. And he makes a really honestly a good point, but it doesn't ruin the movie for me. It's not like well,
Mm-hmm.
it's ruined. But he makes the point is um Ant-Man 1 submits the idea that the quantum realm is like a hallucination crazed thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's just like he's floating. Remember, he's like floating. and he's hearing noises, and then he's trying to grab the little disc, and then he comes out of the quantum realm.
Well, right, but that was also because his regulator was broke.
Right,
Remember, Hank said, "Don't break your regulator because you'll shrink and shrink until nothing."
right.
So like that's not even in the quantum realm. That's he's just becoming a smaller, smaller like atom until he just basically like turns to dust, like nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like that's not technically the quantum realm. So Ant Man 2 digs in more to
And
like
so Ant-Man 2 digs into it, and it kind of sets up this. She sets up Janet sets up the idea that like it's just like a wasteland and there's nothing there. It's just
yeah,
like
right.
there's nothing there and blah blah blah. And then this movie suddenly gives you the
Mm-hmm.
idea that like the idea of they explain he builds his empire, right? They explain that.
Yeah.
So all the Kang robots and all that stuff, that's explained. He
Yeah,
builds it.
yeah.
But the other thing where the rebels are and all these other like weird animal things or whatever you want to call them, it's like
Mm-hmm.
they don't. The guy was just saying that they don't spend a lot of time making you understand the quantum realm itself.
Right.
You don't feel really connected to it,
No, not really.
and like you don't understand like everybody. You just don't understand things about them, like how they got there, like how did they get to the quantum realm, type of thing.
Right. Right. I can see that too. It just
That was
to
just
me
his
it's
point.
just
His point was
yeah.
was that he didn't get on other stuff. That's what he didn't like is that they didn't really beef up the quantum realm and to like explain what it's all like how it all works, like
Yeah.
what's happening. And I agree with that because the things that you and I had contention with was like the breathing thing. Like
Yeah.
how is he able to take his mask off? How are any of them able to mask? And it's like Hank Pym makes the comment like we should be dead,
Yeah,
which
right.
is like a throwaway line for them to be like, I don't know why we're able to breathe. Well, let's just keep going. Like I get
Yeah.
it,
It's
but
I know. I totally agree with that. The breathing, it was like immediately that was like the first thing I thought of when when they're down there. I
me
was
too.
like, wouldn't wouldn't air molecules be like the size of
Yeah,
planets, you know?
but I think it's the type of thing that because it's made up, the quantum realm doesn't
Yeah.
exist like that.
It doesn't matter. Like who cares?
You can overlook that stuff because like so what?
I mean, Peter Quill's walking around space planets and space stations and
Right.
with, doing just fine,
Yeah.
you know. It's like these humanoid life forms, regardless of whether they're tiny in the quantum realm or in outer space. It's kind of the thing where they just breathe. The other thing too is like you pay a lot of money for these actors,
Yeah.
so you're not gonna have them wear their helmet the entire time, right?
Right.
I mean, it's not the Mandalorian.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. I think they should have explained it something,
Yeah.
but
I thought you were
whatever.
gonna say he was gonna talk about like why, like she said there it's a barren wasteland, and then all of a sudden it's not.
That's kind of what he was getting. That's what he was getting to.
Yeah.
Was like,
But
okay,
you
it's
kind of see
not, but
like
why?
you
Like
kind of see
what
like
happened?
why she didn't talk about it, why she wouldn't tell everybody like what's down there or how
Yeah.
what she did. I
Yeah.
always assumed that like the quantum realm had like life forms.
Me too. I mean, there was a lot of those the things from New Rockstars that talked about if you look in this shot when he's doing this thing, like you can see the city behind him. They've always
Mm-hmm.
showed that type of stuff like all the
Yeah,
time.
it's always been implied that that's there's stuff down there.
And also like how else did she survive? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like she had to have eaten and drank something. It's like if the quantum realm
yeah.
she also aged. So that was a big issue I had in when they get her in the
Mm-hmm.
second movie and she's got white hair. It's like if time and space has no relevance here, then why did you age? right? Type of thing.
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
That was the thing
I,
I always had an issue with in the second movie. But I don't
it's
know. I
almost
mean,
like there's certain spots of the quantum realm that break like the time.
right, because the ants get affected by time dilution, is what he says, right? So
There's like
they,
specific layers of like the quantum realm, right? So like because like Scott and Cassie, they fall like in a completely different place than
right,
like Hope and everybody. They go to like a different like layer essentially. So
yeah,
like different like the ants were up top, so like that was all like 1,000 years was whatever time frame they
right. That's
were
why
in.
they were bigger. They were bigger because they didn't shrink as small. They didn't go
Yeah.
as deep. And but that's kind of the point. You don't really get that. And I understand the guy's point. You and
Yeah.
I can work that out now after the movie, but like the movie itself does not explain that to great
Yeah.
detail. And
Also, like
also,
you don't.
like, how is he able to shrink and expand in a state that's already like the smallest you
Yeah.
can be? It's kind of one of those.
Right. Yeah. But I don't need any of that stuff really explained, like to make the movie better.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's
No,
like Guardians, right? Like, oh well, they're on this planet. Why are these people blue? Well, who cares? They're alien, they're aliens.
right, right.
So like in the quantum realm, it's like, yeah, there's organisms that live down here, and they have their own life,
Yeah.
and
I think, yeah, to me at the end of the day, I think the thing that was I was able to not get like whatever. I don't want to say get upset, but not be like, well, this was stupid. It's just like it's a within the Marvel universe, it is a hyper like made up area. It's not like a planet for Guardians
yeah,
where it's just like nobody has visited it. It's a completely different universe. So it has its own rules and differences and weird
yep.
things happening. It's like it's going to have its own laws of physics and
Yeah,
oh, it's a completely
yeah,
new
it's
world.
quantum physics. You're not talking about
Right, right,
it's almost like you're not just talking about like atmosphere, water, and oxygen. I mean, it's
right,
quantum physics. It could be anything. It could be stuff science doesn't even know. You know what I mean?
right.
Because
Exactly.
that's what I was telling you. Like the air thing is, to me, like immediately you're like, well, how are they breathing air? It's almost like when they shrink into the quantum realm, the quantum realm like changes their entire like physiology to like
Yeah.
breathe whatever the atmosphere is.
Well, I almost wonder too if it's like they just are so far past it that it's no longer like subatomic. It's no longer like
Yeah.
you're at the smallest you can be. You're just in a different universe. It's like if you keep shrinking and shrinking and shrinking and shrinking
Yeah.
and smaller and smaller and smaller, you go to this place that's beyond everything. Like they say, it's beyond time and space. So it's not
Yeah.
like it's the tiniest that an atom can get. It's a completely different world. It's a completely different universe,
Yeah.
which is why I think they can breathe, they can do things. He can grow, he can shrink. There's all these weird aliens.
It's
There's like
almost
aliens and people from other worlds, and you know what I mean.
it's almost like a different dimension,
That's
like
what I mean. Yeah,
altogether.
that's what I mean. I
Yeah.
almost think that that's what you're supposed to kind of take away from it is that it's rather than it being they're super tiny, which they are, but it's the thought like getting your head to hurt, the thought that the smallest you go just sends you to a different dimension.
Yeah.
Not like you become so infinitesimal, which is
Yeah.
perhaps what happened to Scott in the first movie. He actually he just shrinks to the smallest he can go with
Yeah.
it as an atom
He went like
rather than
past he
but
went
they went
past the
past that.
quantum realm.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's almost like the process of shrinking itself puts you through like a portal. It's
Right.
like a
Like
time
they just
portal. It's almost
yeah.
like you're shrinking into a time portal to a different dimension.
Yeah.
Is how I would think about it. I mean, it's like it's stupid futuristic, sci-fi science. So it's like it doesn't
Yeah. Yeah.
what it is what it is. But none of that stuff like ruins the movie. And
No.
like by the end of the movie, I wasn't like, so how are they breathing
Yeah.
air? Like I wasn't worried about it.
No. No. Mm-mm.
Because
And you
there's
made a good
other
point. You made
yeah.
a good point about the Because the other thing I didn't like was him getting blasted with all those lasers or whatever they
Mm,
were. And then I was like, he should be hurt by this. This should be hurting him. It should be cutting through the suit.
yeah.
Because also it's Kang technology, and obviously he's very, very advanced. He was like, I don't know if he was disintegrating people or making them not exist. I couldn't tell what that laser
I don't know.
blast was
Either way,
doing.
it's not bad news either
Yeah, it
way.
was bad. And
It's almost like it physically like hurts him sometimes to like use it. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Because there'd be
yeah,
times where he would just like use it and he would like, but then when he does like both hands, he's like, like it physically like, and it's not the
yeah. I
pain
wonder
of
if it does
murdering
hurt
because
him,
that doesn't bother him.
or if he's just so enraged he has to murder
Yeah, it
everything.
could be it could be rage too, but
I
because
like
I
how
like that
calculated
line.
he is. I like how
Yeah,
calculated he is. Yeah, I enjoyed that.
I like that line at the end where he's like, "You think this is new? This is new to me? I've been wiping out universes as long as I can remember." Basically,
Yeah,
he's like riots. Basically rebellions. Like I've seen thousands of rebellions. Like it's
yeah,
nothing new. It's like that's kind of scary.
yeah. Makes sense. I mean, he's seen a lot of stuff. And that's the
Yeah.
thing I was thinking about when you think about like Thanos was nasty, powerful, power hungry, but he
Hmm.
had to use the gauntlet to really do ultimate disaster. He had his forces, but and the thing that I was thinking
Yeah.
about is the thing that Kang has that Thanos doesn't have or didn't have is Kang knows he's more burdened with knowledge. Remember the line between Thanos and Iron
Mhm.
Man? He knows what's going to happen. Like he's lived through
Yeah.
multiple lives. He knows what's coming. He knows more about time than Thanos does. Because like Thanos is surprised in Endgame, oh, the thing I was going to work towards doesn't work out. You guys do this, so I'm just going to kill you. That was his
Yeah.
whole turnaround. But Kang isn't like that. Kang is literally trying to not who he doesn't care about all of this stuff. He just wants to
Yeah.
fight the future Kangs. That's all he wants to do. And he'll do anything he can to get to that.
He's very driven. Yeah, because it's almost like there's a singular end date in the
Yeah.
universe. Like the
Yeah.
universe itself has like an end, like implosion date based on like the war, the coming war.
Right.
Thanos was just like a blip on the map.
Right.
He just wanted to balance like his small like solar system basically.
Right. I think I'd be really interested if in Kang Dynasty, the Avengers movie, to come out. I would be really happy if that movie is just like Age of Ultron, where it's like they use Kang, he does some really bad stuff, but like that's not the event. You know what I
No,
mean?
yeah,
Like the Kang Dynasty is just them coming, and it's still not the event that future Kang that this Kang and Ant Man was trying to prevent. It's just another. It's like another incursion. They deal with it in that movie, and then whatever happens, and then later there's like then at the end, like you have your end game, and it's them fighting all the Kangs,
yeah.
like saving the universe again, type of thing.
The
And the
whole
thing, go ahead.
the whole King storyline to me is like so like fascinating because
Hmm.
it's like they're all hyper aware of the fact that they're not the only king.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
it's almost so Kang in this movie, it's alluded to the fact that he's like the big bad one. Like he was radical. So like all these other kings
Right.
like send him to the quantum realm as like isolation.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
like but they're the ones that are planning on like destroying everything.
Right.
So it's almost like he really was trying to like do it first before they had the opportunity to like destroy everything. Like he knew what needed to be done. That's why he was so like cold and tactical about it.
It kind of seemed like he saw the future. He saw what was going to happen. That all these Kangs are going to destroy things, and he was like, absolutely not. And so he was going through and destroying all the timelines that leads to that happening.
Yeah.
And obviously they don't want that to happen. And I feel like, because I kept thinking, like, okay, if he's exiled, why did he have his ship? Like, why would you exile him with his technology?
Yeah, I don't know.
But I think what her line was, they sabotaged it, or his ship, or him, or it, or
Yeah.
the core. I think what it was is he went into his ship to do something, like travel to the next timeline, and when he
Yeah.
did that, it broke,
The
and
warp
it
core like broke and
and
imploded
like
him into
sent
the
him to the quantum realm, and it just like and then it breaks itself. I think that's what they did, so that when he was like,
because
"See you later,"
the way they kind of talk about the quantum realm, even in like Endgame, is like it's kind of like a neutral like area of like time.
yeah,
So like they're able to like go in and come out at a different year. So it's almost like when he's traveling through multiverses and timeline, that's like you go off course, you go into the quantum realm.
right,
So it's almost like the quantum realm is in the middle of all these like timelines. It's like the center.
yeah, it's
So
like the
again,
dead
going to
zone of the
your point of it being like an actual like dimension, it's like a time realm.
yeah,
The quantum realm is like a time realm, basically.
yeah.
So that's kind of cool.
It is. The thing I thought was cool, I don't know if you picked up on it, his multiversal core thing,
Yeah.
like gear circle things that were happening on it. It reminded me a lot, and I think it was purposeful. The Eye of Agamotto,
Mm-hmm.
when this thing, those like multi-layered
Yeah. The
circular.
lids
Yeah,
open.
it's like, yeah, it's not even a time stone. This is a time device. Could be something to it,
Yeah.
Could be
Yeah. I
how
like that.
that stuff like holds itself. I don't know.
It's like time has always been associated with like spinning rings.
That's true.
It's like infinite, right? They spin
Yeah,
infinitely and they don't ever touch each other. So it's like this, almost mystic source of like power.
yeah,
So the king that like we're familiar with from Loki, he's
yeah.
like the
Okay,
king from like our universe.
yeah,
And so he also knew about the end and he like branched off our timeline, the timeline, the MCU timeline,
right.
and like encapsulated it so no other
Yeah,
king could like destroy it.
I think
So
he was sitting at the end of time.
that's where, yeah, right. That was, yeah,
I think so.
yeah,
I think I don't because he's not in the quantum realm. I think he's
no,
sitting at the end of the timeline, essentially.
yeah, yeah. So it's like they all kind of know there's like this, there's a coming battle, which is interesting.
Yeah, he basically would look at the timelines, and any timeline that led to Kang, like it came led to the Kang multiverse invasion. He
Yeah,
pruned it.
right. So
He's
that's what the
he
time TSA, right? Yeah,
yeah,
that's basically what the TSA were. They were just getting rid of
yeah.
variants that were branching the time to meeting a king.
And the thing that's interesting, it's like he knows everything that's going to happen up until Sophie stabs him, and I think it's because he dies. He doesn't see past his own life, so he can only see up to that moment, basically.
Yeah,
So he knows that they're going to come and they're going to talk to him and all this stuff, which is why he's able to have it all written down and do things. But
yeah.
once she stabs him, it's like this is going to bring about everything. It's
The
interesting
thing,
how in both scenarios, if you think about it, um, Loki brings about the bad guy, because
yeah,
Thanos wants to do that thing, but really the reason why he gets driven so much more is because Loki wants to use the invasion force take over Earth. He
Well,
like
yeah,
makes Thanos pay more attention to Earth, basically.
the Earth specifically like holds the Tesseract, which is
Right.
the power Mind Stone.
Right.
So it kind of puts a pinpoint on Earth. You know,
Yeah. Interesting.
I
I just
know
think it was
that's always been such good writing to me. Is that like Thanos wins in that movie? Thanos wins,
yeah.
kills half the population, and then he
Yeah.
goes out and just lives a solitude life on his farm.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then they kill him. They kill him in the next movie. And then it's like, okay, so how does this work? And then Thanos comes in and it's like a different timeline Thanos.
Right.
And he sees like through Gamora like what happened to his other version. And he's just completely
Right.
different. So it's like it's the same character, same version, but it's completely different because he's not driven by his cause of like helping population. He sees it like, yeah, I already did that and it didn't do anything. So now I'm just going to destroy everything.
Right.
So like completely changes his character. And that's why I think like Kang could be so cool because like you have all these variants of him and like
Right.
some of them want to stop them, some of them want to destroy everything, some of them are just, you know,
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because I mean, the reality is like, okay, they stop him. It's like another Kang can just go and change that timeline where that didn't happen.
yeah,
Like that
right.
doesn't exist anymore. You didn't stop him in this timeline. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, how do you beat it's almost kind of going back to Ultron. Ultron was so dangerous because like he just uploaded his brain to like a different robot. He
Right.
was everywhere. He could be everywhere at any time,
Yeah.
and you had to destroy every single unit,
Yeah.
or he could just like
No, he's
download
just over
again.
here. Yeah.
That's what's going to make King a threat. Is that like you can take out
They're
a
like, how?
thousand of them, but if one takes off in the ship and goes back, you just undoes everything you just did.
Right.
I would like to see that. I would like to see a movie where like halfway through they're doing great, and then all of a sudden it's like they start the day over again.
Oh,
I love
right.
I love that. I love that stuff.
It would be interesting if the thing I would hope, and I know it's not going to happen, and I know me saying it is going to be upsetting, but the thing I would
Usually
love,
usually is
yeah, the thing I would love is if they took another set of Avengers,
and just wipe
whether
them
it's
out.
the original actors again or just completely recasted people, and have it show like these groups of Avengers, not our MCU guys, different people or the ones who have died, fighting Kang, like fighting the incursion. And they're
Mm.
like, oh, like we did it. And then one of them, like you're saying, one of them is alive, and they're like, no, no, no. And then he disappears. And then it's like, and you have the moment where it cuts, and then it's just the MCU. Where now it's like they're gone. Those guys are gone. Like he's cut that timeline. Those guys don't exist anymore. It
That
would
would
be
be
really
great.
cool to
I'm
have
sure.
those type of stakes. You know what I mean?
I'm sure they'll show something like that just to show you how bad it is. The closest we got to that was Superior Strange,
Yeah.
right? Where
Right.
he's like
Exactly. Exactly.
he's like,
Like,
yeah, so you guys have to kill me because like I'm a threat to the Illuminati, essentially.
right.
So that's the other
That
thing too I think
more of
about.
that. Like more of
Yeah.
that. More of showing actors and characters like that where you're like, oh wow, this is awesome, and then they're just immediately gone.
Yeah, as much as in that movie is like I hated seeing like these characters that I want to play these characters die
Yeah.
immediately. It's showing that like it doesn't really,
Doesn't super matter, right?
basically our universe Avengers are like superior.
Right. They're the ones who have to live, basically. yeah.
But they're yeah, they seem like they're more qualified half the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I would like to see more of that stuff, like for sure.
Well, the
And that
cool
might
thing
be stuff
is
that they could show like in Disney Plus stuff.
yeah.
That would be cool.
The cool thing is that's how you're gonna get, you know, like the likelihood of like Tobey Maguire coming back and like Hugh Jackman, like all these things. It's more likely because you're opening up the multiverse.
Yeah.
So I mean, really, even like fan favorites, like John Krasinski as Mr.
Hmm.
Fantastic. He's probably not going to be cast as Mr. Fantastic. He's just a throwaway thing. They literally could bring in Tom Cruise as Iron Man. Who cares?
I know they wanted to.
So it's like, just do it. Like, bring him in, have him get killed, move on. Like, you can bring in so many huge actors that you would love to
Yeah.
see, or have actors reprise their roles. Doesn't matter. I mean, you could literally bring in Superman. Like, you could bring in anything. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. No, yeah. That would be crazy. That would be crazy.
Yeah.
Magneto and Xavier like together fighting again.
Yeah. They're getting there.
Oh,
Eventually, X-Men and all that stuff will come. Yeah.
yeah, I know. I think that's the other thing that like is upsetting fans too is like, where is X-Men? Where are the mutants, man?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They could be slowly trying to set it up so that eventually you deal with Kang and then the next big baddie is Apocalypse or something. I don't know. Or Magneto.
Mm. And I want to see mutant. Think about too is like during the events of like Avengers and everything, like Kang has been just like in the shadows.
Yeah.
It's almost like so he's filling the vacuum of like Thanos. Because I feel like even he wouldn't have done anything during like Thanos' reign.
Well, that's the thing. When you think about it, you think, well, why didn't? But the reality is the he who remains, that
Oh
Kang,
yeah. Yeah.
is
Yeah.
he's it, and all he's doing, he is allowing that timeline that Loki comes from to exist for whatever reason, and it's probably because
It doesn't
he
lead to
probably
Kang.
knows down the line that they're going to defeat them. Maybe. I mean, that's a leap, but that's why he's not doing anything
No,
because
he would. He would know that they're going to defeat Thanos, and he knows that the process of Thanos destroying the planet and the process of the Avengers beating Thanos doesn't lead the timeline to a multiverse of meeting Kang.
right until it does.
Yeah. Well, now
Right?
he's gone, so now it opens the whole thing up. So it's like as soon as he died, Spider-Man opens up the multiverse, brings all these people in, which is like what, six timelines coming together,
Yeah,
basically putting a bullseye on Earth. So it's like,
right.
and now
Well, the
King
interesting
is,
thing is too is I mean, because that Loki is existing, that means that there is a timeline where he is gone after the events of Avengers.
mm-hmm,
Because
right,
he's from a timeline that, they steal the Tesseract, but Captain America puts it back, so that, but it's still a branch that he doesn't
right,
get.
yeah,
He
right,
doesn't get
because that
hurt.
that version of him would go off to like die in
Right,
Endgame.
right,
So now that version, it like you said, it like he's going to like die, but then it branches. So now it's like
right.
a split path, but it
So
doesn't
there's
go
so
anywhere because it
yeah.
kind of
So
stays on his own.
there's an active timeline where he doesn't exist in it. He disappeared. They don't know where he is, and who knows what
Oh,
happened.
yeah, that would split twice, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's
So that's what
true.
I mean. Like you could easily have in that timeline, like Robert Downey Jr. and Thor and all these guys are fighting Kang for whatever reason.
I wonder what happens in Sylvie's timeline
Yeah, I don't know.
because she's a Loki variant.
Yeah,
I don't remember what her story was in the show.
she just was. She just was a girl Loki.
Yeah, but what Thanos didn't come and right, she just kind of like ran away.
They came to prune her. They came to prune the timeline, and somehow she escaped. I forget exactly what happened. She escapes they arrest
Oh,
her or
something
something.
that's right. Something bad happens in her timeline. and they have
Yeah.
to like destroy the timeline.
Hmm.
Oh.
And for some reason, they don't kill her; they just take her.
I think she
Maybe they
steals
do
one of
for
the.
in that timeline. I don't really know. I
I
don't
think
know.
she steals one of the pads from one of the TSA people and goes through a different time universe and just keeps staying on the run the whole time.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's interesting too.
Well, the cool thing is
Yeah,
Loki is going to be a continuation of Loki season 2 is going to be a continuation of Ant Man,
yeah,
and
right.
I love the thing that to be the mid credit scene, obviously the end credit
Yeah,
scene. Those two things, I was like, "Yep, I'm in it. You got me
yeah,
back. I'm back." But the thing that I loved was when Ant Man came back, Paul Scott came back, and to do anything, and he was walking down the street, and he was like, "Wait a minute." He
yeah.
said
Just
he said that he was going to stop something terrible coming.
yeah,
I love that he had this
yeah,
realization and then was like, "Yeah, but that's probably not going to happen. No big deal." And then he's at the fake birthday party, and he was like, "Yeah," and he was just like, "Whoa!" I just I love that he's happy go lucky and who cares and stuff's weird and he's right. Like
yeah.
insane things happen to him, and he is involved in insane things. But at the end of the day, something is coming.
Hmm. You know
I
why
re-
that worries me? Because if Scott Lang is worried about it, it's gonna be bad. Yeah, I
True.
did. I really like that too. I really like that too. It's
Did
like,
you
do I?
was it really refreshing too that like all of the choices that the characters made sense?
Yeah,
It was really nice that all of the characters didn't do weird dumb things because to just do them. Like I love the fact that Cassie had a suit. Great, she can do. She had no idea what she was doing. It was
yeah,
the
I
first time that
yeah.
just because she had a superhero suit didn't mean she could randomly just do
Well,
everything
you
they
see how much training Scott had to do in the first movie.
right.
So if she just like jumped into it and was like, great, it's like
Yeah, but how many times do we see that? I mean, we see that all the time.
all
It's
the time.
constantly like, oh, they put the thing on. I know kung fu and all this stuff, and it's like,
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
how?
yeah. Yeah, so it's like in Black Panther 2 when Ironheart like shows up in her new suit at the end. She's like already knows how to like fly it and use the
Yeah,
thrusters
exactly.
and
Yeah, no,
Iron
perfect
Man,
example.
he was a billionaire and a scientist and he took him like months of like programming his thrusters and dialing the thrusters. Anyway,
Yeah, I really
yeah.
enjoyed that. I really enjoyed how smart it was. I enjoyed that, like, man, it was like a touching moment. It was one of those moments that, like, when you really think about it, how touching it was, because they were like, he was losing his mind in that probability storm, and they were just all freaking
Oh,
out. And then when because they all could unify on the thought of saving
yeah.
Cassie,
It was cool.
I loved that.
I loved how it was like such a like the ant pile. It
Yeah,
was all Scott's like building this giant ant
yeah.
column.
And they're all like, and the thing I love too is thinking about Paul Rudd having the voice like him, going like, oh, like him having the voice, all of them falling off and stuff.
So yeah, so when the Baskin Robbins Scott shows
Oh,
up, oh my god, it was so good. He's like, "What are you doing here?" He's like, "What do you mean? This is my uniform. This is what I work in. Like this is my uniform."
why are you in that?
Yeah,
And then them being like
but
the guy in the background, right? The other Scott going, does he have ice cream?
yeah, even to the point like I always love. I don't know. I always love a scene where there's like so much stuff going on, and there's always just one guy being like, "Why? Why am I here? What's going on?"
Yeah, when they're all running, he's like, I
Yeah.
don't know.
The
Why am
Baskin
I
Robbins
here?
guy was like, "Why am I here?" So,
That's the movie I
so
want
good.
them to explore is how did that Scott Lang get there?
Yeah.
What probability chance that he never became Ant Man?
Oh, yeah,
He just
right.
works
Yeah.
at Baskin Robbins. Like, how did he get in the quantum realm? How did that guy from work get sucked in there? You know,
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
because I was
That's a,
thinking the cool thing is, which they should have done when you really think about it, because when you get insane, I the two things I was hoping they were going to show was him in just like regular street clothes, like the clothes he had when he gets sucked in. Like he didn't have his Ant Man suit on,
mm-hmm.
right? like show versions of him with that and show versions of like Hank, like young Hank.
Oh wow.
Just like so many different Ant-Mans are doing this thing. But I think at the end of the day, they didn't want to get too crazy because that's hard to animate. And two, like Hank wouldn't unify about saving Cassie as well as the other Scots. So
Right.
because it was funny when they were all sitting at the table eating pizza, I was like, oh cool. Then I was like, wait a minute, none of these people. It's literally his daughter, his girlfriend, or I don't think they're married, so his like girlfriend, and then his girlfriend's family. It wasn't like her grandma and grandpa, or you know what I mean.
Right.
It was just funny because I was like, oh wait a minute, yeah, no, like this isn't like a big family table type of thing, you
But the
know.
characters like work so well together
They
that
do,
like they already seem like they're a family. Because
yeah,
she even calls him like Grandpa Hank,
yeah,
like technically,
technically,
even though
oh
that's like
yeah,
on like it would be like on her step side,
right,
be like her step grandpa. But they're
yeah,
already like such a close family unit. And you can kind of see that like she got all the brains like
yeah,
from
oh yeah,
Scott. The Scott's got
yeah,
like none.
yeah.
So that's kind of
How
cool
did you
too.
feel about him being How did you feel about him not being super proactive like Cassie was and everybody was
Mm,
angry about in the beginning of the movie?
I guess I never really picked up on it,
Okay.
but I don't think that he really ever was.
That's kind of what I was thinking too.
He never really
His
was like the hero type anyway.
No, he was kind of just always thrown into things.
Yeah.
He's constantly just kind of like, this is now happening to you. Deal with it.
The most heroic thing he ever did was like help Captain America, and that turned out to be,
Yeah.
the wrong
Put him in,
side.
yeah. I wouldn't
But no,
fight
I
against
mean,
Captain America. I'm not
yeah, I'm
insane.
not crazy. The other side was so much worse.
Yeah.
Uh
Made me
but
laugh.
no, I don't think he ever really has. I mean, so what, in the first movie he's basically just a hired thief for Hank
Yeah.
Pym.
Yeah.
Second movie he's trying to clear his name while also helping them rescue her mother.
Yeah.
Isn't that the main plot of that? They're
Yes.
trying to stop Ghost or
And Ghost, right? Yeah, stopping
yeah.
Ghost. You
But
know what's
he's
funny? I
not.
just
She is. Wasp is. He's
Yes,
kind of like on house arrest and doing
yeah, yeah. He's trying to. Then he tries. He goes. He's like, "Well, I gotta help her," type of thing.
yeah. And in Civil War he's just there as like support, like for numbers.
Yeah, they're
So
just trying to get numbers against
he's
Tony.
never been the guy to like help an old lady cross the road, or
Right.
he's not a hero.
It's funny. You're when you were talking about that, it just reminded me. His buddies weren't in this movie at all.
Oh yeah.
That was
Yeah,
kind of sad. I'm
Ti.
sad about that now.
Ti
I wasn't
and
originally. I didn't think about it, but I am sad that his buddy, his fast talking buddy, wasn't in the movie.
yeah. That's right. Yeah,
I
I didn't even
almost
think
feel
about
like
that.
it would have been great
But
at the end of the movie have him explain the quantum realm. You know how at the
oh
end
my
he's like, "Oh, I
god.
talked to this guy and talked to this guy." They should have had him explain the quantum realm
Oh my god. Yeah,
really
if he showed up
fast,
at the end for a cameo,
like at the birthday
like
party. Yeah,
if they were there, the Russian guy, yeah, right, the Russian guy, yeah. This is
yeah.
Baba Yoga.
Is Bubba Yaga?
Man, that would have been good. I didn't even think about that
I
because
didn't either.
the movie is so much like inside this other dimension that like it doesn't make sense to have
Yeah,
anybody.
so they would not being there, but they should have been. They should have made a
But
cameo.
man, if the end was like them at the birthday party, he's like explaining, he's explaining to like the waiter about the quantum realm or something.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
So my buddy, Gonzalo, my cousin Lupe, he says to me, he says the quantum
Yeah,
realm.
yeah.
That would have been good. That would have been really funny.
And then he would have been like, "No, that's not how." And then have Hank be like, "No, that's not what it's like at all," or whatever. Then he
Oh
goes,
man.
"Nice," whatever he does. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, that would have been good. Yeah, I'm trying to
I,
think what else.
I,
The other yeah, I'm trying to think of like other parts I really enjoyed in it.
okay. I like them building the core. That was a really cool scene of her showing all that and her learning about his
Yeah.
his other whatever, like before
Were
he
you
got there.
expecting Janice and Kang to like have known? I mean, you kind of the trailer set up where like she knew that he was like a guy to like avoid, but were you expecting them to be like friendly at one point?
Maybe a little,
Yeah,
maybe a little.
because I mean, she pretty much like rebuilds his
I
ship with
guess
power.
I guess what initially going into the theater, no, I thought, nope, it was somebody she avoided, never talked about because he was terrifying. But then when the movie opens up and he's crawling, he saves her and he's crawling on the ground.
Yeah,
I was like, oh,
but
okay. Like,
when that ship crashes, like I was kind of like, I bet that's Kang. I bet
did
they're
you think
setting
that?
up.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
okay.
I kind of did.
I thought that was going to be Ant Man 1, like she was going to see him. I thought
Um,
that's what that was going to be, but then obviously it wasn't. But I thought that's what it was.
I like how the movie opened. It opens in the quantum realm, and you were like, "Yeah, this is already crazier than Doctor Strange."
Yeah, 30 seconds into it, I was like, this is already insane.
And Doctor Strange opens up on this like universe where they're jumping from like platform to like in the voice.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So that yeah, I like that too. I liked how they kind of gained it a friendship, right? And then
Me too.
she
I
saw all
like
this like
that there
terrible
is a
stuff.
like softer, more controlled, like more thoughtful, logical, uh, like reserved versions of him. I
Hmm.
like that there's not just murder, 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 kill, kill, kill versions of him. He was like that, but he was very cold and calculated in this movie. I liked that he 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 was so it was one of the few times you see in a movie where the guy knows he's gonna win, the bad guy knows he's gonna win, so he doesn't care. It doesn't really matter because I have enough technology to destroy all of you. Doesn't who cares? I like that he played that very well. Or it wasn't like he was angry all the time. He just was very much like, I could kill your daughter and I could kill you and whatever. I thought for sure he in the cell he was going to actually kill her.
Yeah, I did too. I was expecting a death in the movie for sure.
Yeah, me too. I did. I definitely
Well,
thought somebody was going to eat it.
we did get one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
couple of them. I
there.
mean, yeah, you get a couple of them,
Yeah. The I
like
kind of like
Battery
how
Galaxy Man,
yeah,
whatever his
the
name
guy who
was.
forgot that his head was a laser the whole movie.
Yeah, yeah,
The the thing I kind of like too is like at the end when like Scott is fighting Kang, it's almost like they both know that like Scott can't go one on one, like hand to hand,
yeah,
but he was gonna do like whatever he could to like stop him from going through the portal.
yeah,
And it just shows that like Scott got a few like hits in,
yeah.
because like going back to like Ant-Man 1, he was, when he was in
He knows how to
prison
fight, right?
and stuff. But like it's
Yeah,
almost like Kang was just kind of toying with him and
kind of.
beating him down
I
pretty
think
good.
also Ken got beat up by the ants pretty good too. So
Yeah, he was pretty weak at that point.
right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fascinating. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
definitely my next No Way Home. It's my next
It's pretty good.
like
Man,
you know what I
we
mean? Like Endgame to No Way Home to Quantumania. Like
yeah.
that's the little like I'm drowning. I can't. Oh, okay. I held on to this for a little bit. Oh, this gets me through, and then oh god. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, and we haven't even talked about the biggest character reveal of all. Modak was in this movie.
that's true. Yeah, Modak,
Yeah, which is he's
Darren
Darren.
Cross. Yeah,
Yeah, which is cool.
it was very cool.
I was telling you, like I like any time where they'll take like a villain from a previous movie and like make it realistic and like why now he's this other villain from the comics.
Yeah,
So he was so what he was he was Yellow Jacket, right, in the first movie.
Yellow Jacket. Yeah,
Then he gets like shrunk into like the quantum realm. And
yeah,
then Kang like rebuilds him and puts him in this like like war suit, like robot suit. So now he's
Yeah.
like just a big head with like these little. So it was cool to see him
It
like
was
show up
cool.
again.
Yeah, it was. It was
Yeah,
really cool.
yeah, and he kind of died. He died a hero too. Kind of he helped
Died an
out.
Avenger.
Yeah, that was so good. At least I died. I love that too. He's like, you were always a brother. It's like I
He's like,
was.
what?
What? What? We hated each
Yeah,
other.
it's kind of like yeah,
I
like, oh,
I hated you.
we tried to kill each other. Like, yeah,
I killed
yeah,
you in my daughter's bedroom.
right, right, yeah.
You were trying to kill my daughter.
And then he's
I
like,
threw
ah,
Thomas the train at you.
yeah, right, yeah, yeah,
Oh my god,
yeah.
that was so funny.
That was
But I
good.
like that. But I like that callback too, where like even Cassie like remembered him.
Oh yeah,
She's like, "Oh, that's that B guy." It's like, yeah,
yeah.
oh, that's pretty cool.
It
And
was
then
good.
even like, so even like after all that, right? All that, like we every character like sees Darren again for the first time. Okay, that joke is over, done. Then it's like
Yeah,
the end, and he's like dying, and and
yeah.
she Wasp comes up right, and she's like, Darren. So it's like again, like again. It's like
You
okay, yeah,
just
it's funny again. It's funny again.
changed your hair. Yeah, yeah. It was good. It was good.
Oh man, that was pretty good.
I love that they just kept like they get you into this moment where you're like, oh, and then they would just hit you with real. And that was the thing I liked about it. It was stupid, but it was like real humor that you would actually have like in that moment where it's just like, well, what do you
Right,
mean?
yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, it's like realistic setup humor. Not setup, but like just how crazy everything is. Like that's
Yeah,
find the humor. And
yeah,
the other character I really like was that pink. I think his name wasn't it Bill? Didn't they call him Bill?
maybe. I know what you're
He
talking
was like
about though.
that pink juice guy, right?
Yeah,
The
drink the ooze.
drink the ooze. I like that too. I like how they don't understand anybody, and then
Yeah,
they drink the ooze, and then they can like
yeah.
understand
Which
like
was
the
him,
language.
which is what he
Yeah,
says. It's him. They're
yeah. So what
drinking.
is that? So what does that mean? Does that
I
mean
have
he was
no
like the
idea.
first quantum realm creature ever, or what? Like, what is that? What does that mean?
He must have some sort of ability where he can like help your mind assimilate, like translate language or something.
But it was like that joke they just kept playing over and over was him asking about. He's
Holes.
just like he's just interested in like other beings, right? And he's just,
Yeah.
do you have holes? Do you have any holes? I
Yeah.
don't have holes, and he was like depressed that he doesn't have holes.
Yeah. It was.
And then when they brought it back at the end of the movie, where they shoot the crap out of him, and he's
Yeah.
like, I have holes. It was
Yeah.
like this rally cry. Oh my god, that's so funny.
It was great. It was great.
But anytime he was in a scene, it was like instantly funny. There'd be like times where like people were getting like blown up, and he'd be like running in the foreground.
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. It
like,
was
oh
good.
man, he was basically this movie's like Korg.
Oh, very much so.
Hey
Very, very much so. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
man, I love Korg.
He's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was good. It was a good, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed all, when I didn't, when I was thought maybe I wasn't going to like it.
Hmm.
And even though the ending wasn't quite what I was hoping the ending would be, like the actual ending of the movie, I was like, oh, well, I guess they're not going to really make this be super impactful. That the last two, the after movie stuff was just like, oh, well, okay, well, whatever. I don't care anymore.
Yeah.
So it was, I don't know. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. You
I'm sure as
when I
time goes on, I'm just going to keep, you and I both are going to be in the minority of people who enjoyed it. So whatever.
well when I pulled into the theater, I pulled up next to you and I said, hey, so have you heard anything? Because like I didn't hear anything, and you kind of
Right.
like went on this like you know precursor of some negative things, and I was like, oh man, it kind of bummed me out.
Yeah, no,
And
me too. Yeah.
it was probably like 30-40 minutes of the movie. I'm like, I'm really enjoying this movie.
Right. Yeah.
Like I'm
Same.
really enjoying this movie. They got into the quantum realm like almost immediately. There was like no
Yeah.
long setup. Like the movie's called
Nope.
Quantum Realm. They better spend
Yeah.
85% of the time in the quantum realm.
Yeah.
And then it was probably like almost like 30, 40 minutes, 30 minutes before it ended, where you were like, so people probably don't like this because like Kang doesn't get out. Because I said, I think there was a part in the movie where King, they said, I think Janice said like it's like dire that he does not get out.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, so King's gonna get out basically.
Right,
And then
right,
you were
right,
like,
right.
yeah, so that's probably why people don't like this movie is because he probably doesn't get out.
Doesn't get out. And to be honest,
Yeah.
to be fair, right?
Yeah.
If you don't have those last two scenes, those credit stuff,
Oh yeah.
you'd be like, oh, oh, okay.
Because
Like
it feels empty.
another self-contained movie that introduced something interesting, but
No.
nothing happens.
Doesn't set up any plot for previously. Yeah, I
Exactly.
would totally agree with that. But
100%.
but kind of like I was alluding to in the beginning, is that it almost makes it worse because basically King was saying like if I get out of the quantum realm, I'm going to destroy everything. That way they can't destroy everything. And if I don't get out of the quantum realm, they're going to destroy everything.
Right.
So that end
Yep.
credit scene, you see them and they're like, yeah, so he's dead. And like
Let's do
now we
this
know
thing.
like he died in the quantum realm, which is
Yeah.
connected to Earth. Like let's
Let's
do
do
it.
it. Yeah.
So now it's
Basically,
like they're on a mission.
it's the subtext that everybody was talking about in the MCU that once Odin died, Thanos was like, "Perfect, let's do this." You know, it's the same thing. Like now that the guy who could probably stop me is dead,
Yeah.
let's go. Yeah.
Yeah. And it almost puts like a beacon
Oh,
on
very
Earth.
much so.
So
Yeah.
so it's bad.
Honestly, the cool thing is too. This gets me hyped for whatever Kang Dynasty is, whatever that is. Like whatever that movie's going to be. I'm
How
all on
far
board.
off how far off is that?
2 years.
Is it 2 years? Is
Yeah,
that
I
the
think
first Avenger movie or like second
that's
Avenger
the
movie?
second one.
Wow.
Because the
So
first
I
one
can
is Secret Wars.
so then I mean like I get it because like I want to get into the new story, the new,
Yeah,
whatever we're in, phase 4, phase 5, whatever this is.
yeah, yeah.
Like I want to get into it, but like if Kang Dynasty is 2 years away, what's going to lead into it?
I don't know. Well,
There's a lot of movies coming out.
I think the thing that is I think what they're gonna do is Secret Invasion is gonna come out here soon.
Oh, yeah, I
And
forgot about
Secret
Secret
Invasion
Invasion.
is gonna do Skrull stuff, and then we're gonna get into Secret Wars because Secret Wars is the first Avengers movie. And I think Secret Wars is going to tap into the multiverse in
Hmm.
that movie. I think that's where you're going to get the Tobey Maguires, the Hugh Jackmans, the Tom Cruises. I think in that movie you're going to get that. And then that movie, because they're close together, Secret Wars and Kang Dynasty are close in release dates.
They
And
are
yeah,
like two major Avenger movies, like
yeah,
months
because
apart.
Kang Dynasty is May 25, and oh, Secret Wars is after that. Oh, I thought it was before it. November 25 is Secret Wars.
Oh,
So it's only like
so
6 months
what's the
later.
in the comic book? What's the story of Secret Wars? Is it the scroll
It's
or like
that,
impostering Avenger?
yes.
Yeah,
So
it's interesting that it's that far
notable
away.
heroes, yeah, notable heroes are scrolls essentially.
Well, it's crazy that it's that far away, and we've already kind of seen that set up like in like two Avenger movies ago, like with Nick Fury out in space, and they were portraying him like on Earth in Spider-Man.
Oh no, that's Secret Invasion. Oh no, Secret Invasion is they've secretly been. That makes sense.
The scroll are
Secret,
yeah.
yeah. So or the scroll thing, Secret Wars. Oh, I didn't realize this. I got it wrong.
Okay.
It's this entity called the Beyonder observes the mainstream Marvel universe.
Huh.
Fascinated by the presence of superheroes on Earth and their potential, this entity chooses a group of both heroes and supervillains and teleports them against their will to Battle World, a
Oh,
planet
okay.
created by the Beyonder in a distant galaxy. And then they has these guys fight each other.
That makes sense. Yeah, that I kind of remember. Yeah, see, so yeah, Secret Invasion is like, yeah,
The
like
scroll
Alien
stuff.
Scroll. That'd be kind of cool. Like, how
But
cool would that be if like a couple like side characters that like we've known for a while are like, oh yeah, they were Scroll the whole time.
I've been trying to look at it. I've been trying to see if they've been dropping hints of like who's the scroll. I haven't noticed
I
yet.
don't think anything that you're seeing currently would be. I don't think it makes sense. I think like the next couple movies you start seeing, maybe,
Okay.
you know. What
Yeah.
if honestly, what if the Captain America replacement guy, what if
For the
he's a
scroll.
scroll? That'd be
Could
cool.
be.
And what about
Well, you're
that? Are
getting
we
that movie
getting
too. Thunderbolts is coming out at some point too.
oh
So
yeah. Are we getting another Falcon and Winter Soldier season?
no,
They haven't
that's
said
done.
nothing.
No, they're just coming out with New World Order. That's the Captain America movie coming out.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
What else?
I think a lot of the Disney, not DC, the Disney Plus stuff,
You watch your
the Disney Plus stuff that's come out, other than Loki, and I think something
Hawkeye.
else. I think everything else was a
Hawkeye's
self-contained
probably getting a
series.
second season. Maybe not.
Maybe, maybe.
Unless you see Kate Bishop again, like in, starting to see her in like
Yeah,
Avenger
that's true.
stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm really looking forward to what this got me back on board. This got me really interested in what's to come. Because I
Yeah, I
was
know. Yeah, me too. I'm kind of like back on the bandwagon. It's not like I was
because
off, but just
yeah.
Doctor Strange was good, but it left me kind of wanting more.
Well, I'll put it to you
And
this way. This is the way I look at it is I was not off the bandwagon, but I was on the I probably will wait until it goes on Disney Plus
oh yeah, that's
instead of
kind of
seeing it in theaters.
so you are on the side cart of the bandwagon.
Right. But Ant-Man got me back in. So
Oh, yeah. Like I wasn't even gonna go see Black Panther, honestly.
yeah, I
But we
didn't.
ended up
So
going and I don't know. It was fun.
yeah.
Didn't get me excited for anything.
Yeah.
But even like I said, like Doctor Strange, it was good, but like I wanted to do more.
Yeah.
But it's hard because we just came off of No Way Home. And like
Yeah,
how
Spider-Man.
are you gonna
Yeah,
make how are you gonna make anything better than that?
I know. Yeah.
Like you just can't.
No,
So
definitely no.
I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will, but like
Oh yeah. Eventually it'll be
yeah.
cool and interesting again.
Yeah, it's just funny because like I have such a higher regard for like the Disney Plus shows right now than I do
Me
for
too.
actual cinematic movies.
Yeah. Same.
A show I almost slept on, She-Hulk. Like I didn't give a crap about that.
Right.
I was like one of the best. I say that every time a show comes out, like, oh, I'm not gonna watch Hawkeye. And like
Right.
you watch it, and you're like, oh my god, Kingpin and Daredevil are back, and
Yeah, yeah.
and then Daredevil was in She-Hulk, and it's like She-Hulk is
Yeah.
great, and
Yeah.
they brought back Abomination, like
Abomination. Yeah.
from the awful Hulk. Like, it was just like, oh my god, okay, all right.
Like nothing had
Why
ever
are
changed, right? Like nothing.
why
Yeah,
aren't
it's
they doing
perfect.
this in the movies? Like why
I know. I like why not?
they
Why not?
they couldn't get Tom Cruise to come in for a
I
five
know.
second cameo? He could have
Just
filmed it in his basement and just sent it over, right? Like
true. It's very true. Well, that guy likes movies, so I doubt he would do that, but yeah. But yeah.
I just think it was a bad time
I
for movies. I think like COVID kind of stopped a lot of like in-person filming.
just a lot. Yeah.
So I just kind of missed out on a
I
few
think
things.
this
But
movie probably suffered from it too. I think too. I
yeah,
think there was
they filmed during.
I think partially, yeah.
Wow, crazy.
Crazy.
But yeah, we really enjoyed Quantum Realm, and if even if we're
Yeah.
the two people on the planet, that's all right.
That's okay.
I don't think we are.
We'll just go ahead and we'll start pruning the timelines that don't like
Any timeline that leads to people saying they hate Quantum Realm, snip it.
Yeah.
You're out of here.
Yeah, out of here.
We get Owen Wilson and he'll.
Yeah,
I like that. I like the Loki and the ending with Loki.
very much so. Very
And
much so.
it's like they're time traveling to a different time, old. It's like the olden days. And
Yeah,
King is there talking about like, and I love Owen
yeah.
Wilson. He's like, you said this guy was like threatening.
Terror,
This guy's
like
this guy's a
terrifying.
loser.
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
And it was like it
I
got me
love
like,
it.
yes, Loki season 2. Can't wait for season 2 of Loki.
I know. And I'll
I haven't
say it
seen
here
Tom
too,
in anything.
because no, I'll say it here because you and I both laughed at it. I said at the end when it says Kang will return, I
Yeah,
said I wanted it to say Kang will return and again. Kang will return again and again and
yeah,
again. I was
yeah.
really
That
that
would
would
have
have
been
been
that would
yeah
have been good. But
yeah.
yeah, I don't remember a time in MCU history where like the movie ends and it's like the movie's like Ant-Man and it doesn't say like, yeah, Ant-Man will be back. It's like, yeah, Kang, the bad guy, yeah, he'll be back. You're like,
That's
oh,
true. I think maybe they did it once with Sam. No, yeah, I
I
don't
don't
remember.
I
I'd
don't
have to go
think
back and watch it now. You're
so.
probably right. It's
It always says like the Guardians will return or like
yeah, like Captain Marvel, Iron Man, or whatever, right? Yeah.
yeah. But this is the first time in like a movie where they were like, yeah, Kang's coming back. Like he'll be in the next one and the next one and the next one.
And the next
But
one.
that arena, honestly, dude, that arena with all the Kangs, like they're out there and
Them
they're
all
like,
freaking
yeah,
out. Yeah.
yeah,
It
let's
was
do
great.
it. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
oh, this is bad. This is gonna be bad.
It's got to be great to be Jonathan Majors to play that guy.
Oh yeah.
Okay, we're
And
gonna
they
film you. We're gonna film like 300, like 200 different reactions of you freaking out. Let's do it. We're gonna put you in these 6 other outfits.
that's what I was gonna say. He looks different. Like all the three of those main guys that were like talking to each other,
Completely.
completely different. One was like Egyptian, one was like
Yeah.
just like this like shaved, like headed
He was like
guy,
a
like
future guy,
techno.
right?
Yeah, like techno, like future guy.
And the other guy was like Chinese, like ancient China, I think is what he
Yeah. And he
was.
like they all talk different. They
Yeah,
all have
totally
like
different.
different I was like, how is he doing this? This guy's great,
They
you
picked
know?
they picked they picked a perfect guy for it. I mean, he's amazing. He's
He's really
amazing.
good at being like menacing just because
Yeah.
like he knows he's menacing.
And
He's
also
not like trying to
smooth.
be.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's just like, no, this is what's
He's that
going to happen.
terrifying type. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's like that terrifying type of villain that you don't like that it's like he doesn't have to be angry. He doesn't have to be like, ah. It's
Yeah.
that he's looking you right in the eyes and he's making you meet him. He ain't backing down. He's like
I've
that type
always
of
been more scared of a villain or like a bad guy that has doesn't show emotion
right, exactly.
because
Exactly.
he's psychotic because he doesn't
Right.
have emotion, so there's no like connect, there's no humanity connection. It's just
Right,
like
exactly.
very like to the point, like this is what's going to happen, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Even like Thanos was kind of like that, he didn't get like super mad about stuff, he just was
Yeah.
like,
Well, the
oh, just
original Thanos, right? Because the one who came
right. The other one
from the
is the other one.
past, right? He's just angry. He was just angry.
Yeah.
He literally says, no, I'll take pleasure out of destroying your puny planet. So yeah,
Yeah, he liked it. He liked the
his
destruction.
whole like his whole way of thinking changes.
It's because he already won the peaceful version, the peaceful way.
Exactly. Yep.
Perfectly balanced.
Perfectly balanced.
You know what I would like to see? I'd like to see another Thanos in a
And like
different
Kang
movie.
take him out. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Just that, or just him, just like so, like how blah, 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 blah. The show, the Disney Plus show, the animated one,
Oh, what if?
the What If series, like how in that one where King T'Challa was
Yeah.
um Star Lord,
Yeah,
was
yeah,
just like Thanos was in it, and he's just like a good guy. He just was like,
yeah.
he's like, hey, remember when you wanted to like kill half the planet? And they're like, yeah, that was hilarious.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
like
I
a
mean,
good guy.
honestly, it'd be interesting
That'd be
if
so
they
cool.
use Thanos and the Gauntlet to like stop Kang. You never, I mean, like in any way.
Wow. Well,
Like, hey, man, if you don't help us stop Kang, he's gonna not help. Like, you can't do what you want to do. Like you never. It's just like all of that is
Hmm.
like possible because of the doors that they've opened. It's cool.
Yeah, yeah, wow, that explodes my brain a little bit thinking about that. Cool. All
All
right.
possible.
Well, go see Quantum Realm.
Go see it
Go see
if you
it.
like the ants.
Come for the ants.
Stay for the holes.
It's all led to this moment. It's
It's all led to this moment. Yes.
un-
Yes.
unreal. Wow, that's really
Perfect.
good.
Perfect.
Great.
This
All right.
this podcast, Nerd Holes, was made for Quantumania.
Yeah.
uh,
All
perfect.
versions throughout time have been
All when converging
culminating.
to this point.
Cool. All right. So we got a couple things in the pipe works.
Yeah.
We're doing another series where we're doing like animated stuff leading up to Mario.
Yep.
Uh yeah, we're gonna watch the first Sonic video came out. We're gonna watch Sonic 2, and then we're gonna watch we're gonna watch the live action Mario movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So look forward to that.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
We should do like a lot. Yeah, we'll talk about
Yeah.
it.
All right. Yep.
Okay. All right. We'll see you guys in the next one.
In the next one.